for past 3 days, this crash course series are going on. We have already covered with the subjects cost accounting, commerce, and management. Now, today we have the crash course series on computer system and application, which is one of the applied component subject in TYBCOM semester 6. For this crash course series of TYBCOM, there is a great support of the management and principal sir, founder principal sir, Dr. J.C. Purswani sir, and vice principal ma'am, Dr. Khushbu Purswani ma'am. Under their mentorship, always the programs which is student oriented are always run. So today I would like to call and invite Professor Krishnaji Salgaonkar sir for accepting the invitation and who is going to share the information regarding the subject. Sir is highly dedicated, professional and accomplished lecturer with extensive knowledge of teaching computer science, having 14 plus years of experience in design, development and evaluation of e-learning. And he is also having the experience of project management with specific experience in developing and managing instructional material for blended learning solution. Sir is also having the interest in research area, hardware and software system, construction of hardware and software system, who is one of the best choice for the subject, having lot of information. I thank Krishnaji Salgaonkar sir for accepting the invitation, who is going to devote his valuable time for the students. So I would like to invite Krishnaji Salgaonkar sir to start the session. Thank you, sir.
Myself Krishna Salgaonkar. I'm assistant professor from the Arts and Commerce. I'm going to talk. Good morning, everyone. Myself Krishna Salgaonkar. I'm assistant professor in S.S.T College of Arts and Commerce, ITCS department. Today we are going to discuss regarding your subject, computer application. So let's start with the presentation. Okay. So your program is Commerce, Bachelor of Commerce, and this subject is Computer Systems and Application, Paper 2. The major components of this subject, the major syllabus part cover e-commerce, advanced spreadsheet. This is divided into 2 parts, and Visual Basic. So first we will see the syllabus. First we will go through the syllabus, and then we will see the content. So under e-commerce, the things which are covered are definition of e-commerce, then features of e-commerce, types of e-commerce. Majority questions come from these 3 points. Then business models in e-commerce, major B2C models, e-commerce security, encryption, payment system, how an online credit card transaction works, limitation of e-commerce, and the last one is m-commerce. So let's we'll go through the content faster. The first we will understand what is e-commerce. So e-commerce refers to commercial transaction conducted online. This means that whenever you buy and sell something using the internet, you are involved in e-commerce. So if you are buying or selling anything online, we can call it as an e-commerce. Basically, any form of business transaction conducted electronically can be referred to as e-commerce. This involved in the transaction can be represent multiple combinations of customers, business, vendors, or other suppliers or government agency. because if you see why government agencies, because most of the things now we pay online. Suppose if you want to go for a PAN card, you are making the payments online, so that's the reason that also comes under e-commerce. Unique features of e-commerce technology are, first we will see the features of e-commerce. Ubiquity. E-commerce is ubiquitous, means that it is available everywhere. See, if we go for traditional commerce, then what is there? We need some shop at a proper location, and we have to go to that location. For e-commerce, that limitation is not there. Then global reach. E-commerce allow business transaction on the cross-country bound can be more convenient and more effective as compared with the traditional commerce. So you have a global reach if you are using e-commerce. Then universal standards, the technical standards of the internet. So to carry out the technical standards of the e-commerce is shared by all countries around the world standard. So every country is following the same standard. So that's the reason we can consider this is also as an important feature, that is universal standard. And then information richness. This is what where nowadays the things are changing very rapidly. Initially, lots of data for storing and for accessing, we need to spend more. But now, if you see the things now, most of the things are now free. Advertising, branding are an important part of commerce. E-commerce can deliver video, audio, animation, billboard, signs, etc. Then next is interactivity. Both consumer as well as businessmen both can interact with each other. They allow for two-way communication between business and consumers. Information density. The electronic commerce technology reduces information collection, storage, communication, and processing cost. At the same time, accuracy and timeliness of the information technology increase greatly. See, I already told you, because as the time is going on, initially there are lots of restrictions, but now it is free. You can find out the information easily, and it is very cost effective nowadays. Then customization. E-commerce technology allow for customization. Business can be adjusted for a name, a person interest, post, purchase. Lots of customization you can make in future also. Then social technology. When you want to sell a product, you can put the information about your product on a social media sites also. So you can easily use the social technologies. So we see the definition and we see the features. So under features, global reach is very important. Now we will come to the types of e-commerce. So the first type is business to consumer, that is B2C. Online retail typically works on B2C model. Retailers with online stores such as Walmart. This is a little bit not visible. Maxi and IKEA are all examples of business that engage in B2C e-commerce. So if business is retail, but it is an online business, then we can consider it under B2C. Then business to business, these are the models which you are already aware. So I'm just giving you the example. Example includes Xero, an online accounting software for small businesses, ADP, a payroll purchasing company, and Square, a payment solution for just a moment. Just minimizing this thing. Okay, so a payment solution for SMBs. Now, consumer to business, that is C2B. Many crowdsourcing campaigns fall under C2B, that is consumer to business. Then these are the examples. E-commerce Soma, a business that sells eco-friendly water filters, is one of the example of company that engage in B2C. E-commerce back in 2012, Soma launches a Kickstart camping to fund the manufacturing of their products. The project was successful and Soma went to the rise of $147,440. Now, consumer to consumer, that is the last one, C2C, commonly takes place on online marketplace such as eBay, in which one individual sells a product or services to another. Example is eBay. So basically there are these four models, and along with that there is one more model that is you can nowadays we are using mobile. So that is we can call as a m-commerce. So these four models are there, that is business to consumer, business to business, consumer to business, then consumer to consumer. This is one more, that is m-commerce. You get a separate definition, you get a separate short note on this. What is m-commerce? So m-commerce is a short form of mobile commerce. This is largely a subsection of B2C transaction, but the rapid penetration of mobile devices with internet access has opened new avenue of e-commerce and retailers and their consumers. See, it's actually comes under business to consumer, B2C. But if you see now, we are moving apart from computer. We are not using computers now. We are using mobile phone for majority of the transaction. That's the reason we can call it as a separate entity, m-commerce. So m-commerce generally involves e-commerce taking place on mobile phone. This is basic the definition of e-commerce taking place on mobile phone. One of the most common example of m-commerce is electronic ticketing, air ticketing, movie ticketing, train ticket, play tickets, tickets to sporting events, and just about any kind of ticket can be booked online or through mobile apps. This is the main example. Instead of receiving a paper ticket, buyers download an electronic version of the ticket that can be scanned just like paper ticket, while electronic ticketing does not eliminate lines of entry points. So basically, nowadays, whenever we want to buy any tickets, we are going for the online mode, and usually it is through mobile phones. So that we can consider under m-commerce. Now, this is regarding e-commerce. So under e-commerce, the definition is important, features and the main business models are there, which we have to understand. Now, after that, I'm coming to the next topic, that is advanced spreadsheet. Now, under this, first we will see the syllabus. See, when you have to write in the paper, these questions are very easy to write. So try to understand these things so that you can better, your paper will be better presented. Now, multiple spreadsheet, creating and using templates, using predefined templates, adding protection option. So majority times now we have to do repeated work. So what we can able to do in that case, we can create a templates of our work and we can reuse that templates. Then creating and linking multiple spreadsheets. See, at a time we are working on many spreadsheets, so we have to link that spreadsheets with one another. So that thing is there, that is usually we call as referencing. Then using formulas and logical operators, creating and using name ranges, creating formulas that use references to cells in different worksheets. All this thing comes under the basics of Excel, which we already covered in semester 5. Semester 5, majority of these things are covered. This is little advanced. So in that, we have to understand how we have to write the formulas, what are the meaning of the logical operators, then how to create the formulas using cell references. Instead of directly writing the numbers, we can use the cell references to create the formula. So all these are there under the basics. Now, I'm going to talk about here regarding lookup, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, then what are this if, nested if, count if, sum if, average if. and some string function that is left, right, mid, length, upper, lower, proper, trim, fix. Okay. Usually you get a short note on this. What is lookup? What is VLOOKUP? You have to define that in smaller a few lines along with the example. So let's start with lookup. So first we will understand what is meant by a lookup in Excel. So lookup, when you need to look in a single row or column and find a value from the same position in second row or column. See, usually you are creating a table with 2 columns or 3 columns or 4 columns. Okay. So in 2 nearby columns, if your value is in one column, you have to find out the value corresponding to that in the other column. Okay. Let's see some examples regarding that for clear understanding. For this example, let's say you know the part number for an auto part. See this table. This table is checked from column number B, C, D, and E. So part number is there, part name is there, part price is there, and status is there. Okay. So I'm just reading the first one. The first part number is A001. The part name is water pump. Part price is $68.39, and status it is in stock. So in this example, suppose you know the part number for an auto part, you know the part number is A002 or A003, and you want to know the price. So in this case, you can use the lookup formula. So see here in G1, if you are at a part number. So in H1, if I write A001, then below this part price, actually here I'm going to write the VLOOKUP formula, and I can able to see the price over there. Okay. So if I write part in H1, if I write part A001 in H2 below it, I can able to see the price. This is our lookup function. There are 2 forms of lookup, that is vector and array. The vector form of the lookup function will reach one row or one column of a data for a specified value and then get the data from the same position in the other row or column. Okay. How we have to write lookup? We have to how we have to write the function is equal to lookup. Then we have to start the bracket. First, we have to write the lookup value. Then we have to put the comma, like the part number. So part number is actually the lookup value, that is A001 or A002. That is the lookup value. Then we have to write the lookup vector. So in which column we have to see, and then we have to define the result vector. So from which column we want the value. So first, in the earlier example, we will first select the just a moment. So here, if I want to, so my lookup value will be suppose A002, then I'm going to see it in this column, D column, and I want a value from D column because I need the price. Okay. So that is what is written over here. The array form of a lookup looks in the first row or column of an array for the specified value and return a value from the same position in the last row or column of the array. So here what will happen now, if you consider a table of 4 columns, it will look for the value in the first column and it will give the values in the last column. So you have to just write a lookup value and a table. So if you write lookup and suppose the lookup value is we will consider the same example. If A001, so I will write A001 and then I will define the full table. So automatically it will search in the first column and it will give the value from the last column. Now we will see some example of this. So here see, I want to find out the frequency. I will specify the frequency and then I will get the color. So I want to search the color for frequency 4.19. So it is very easy now. Just for seeing, we can see that it is a orange. So how we have to write the formula? First, we will write is equal to lookup compulsory. Then we will start the bracket. What I want to search is 4.19. So I will write 4.19. Then I will write comma. Now where I'm going to search from A2 to A6. So if you see here, it is written A2 to A6. Okay. And from where I want a value, that is B2 to B6. So this is the lookup formula. Lookup. First, I will write the lookup value. So lookup value is 4.19. Then I will write from where I want to search. So I'm going to search from, that is lookup vector, A2 to A6. And where is my result? Is in B2 to B6. So automatically it will go to search 4.19 in this A column. So once you got 4.19 in third position, it will going to give the corresponding value from the next column, that is orange. So I will get orange over here. We will see one more example of the same thing, but earlier it is vertical. Now this is horizontal. So it will go to search horizontally lookup value, because lookup vector I define from C2. Lookup vector is from C4. This is fourth column. So C4 to F4, right? So lookup value, this lookup value I define in B10. So here in B10, I define 45,000. Okay. So instead of mentioning that value, I am typing here. So that's the reason I written lookup value as B10, comma, C4, F4, and I want an interest rate. So interest rate in C6 and it's up to F6. Okay. So if you check, it's at 45,000. So it will search for 45,000 over here, and then it will give the corresponding value from this table. Now we will go for the next one, that is VLOOKUP. Majority times, many of the people didn't understand what is mean by lookup and what is mean by VLOOKUP, or there is HLOOKUP also. So I showed you what is mean by lookup. So in it is a very simple formula where what happened, you are going to search value. You have to find first let you decide which value you have to find out. That is called as the lookup value, and from where you are going to search, that is the first column, and then you will get the value from the second column immediately. The value from the second column or whichever column you define. Okay. Now most of the times, what happened now? Our tables are big, like we have 7 rows and we have 8 rows, and every time changing the formula will be difficult. So what we can do now, we can take the table and we can search the value in the first column. Okay, in an array complete table, we can search the value from the first column, and then we can define we want the value from the second column, or we want a value from the third column, or we want a value from the fourth column, like that. So that is what is VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup. It is a function that makes Excel search for a certain value in a column. The so-called table array in order to return a value from a different column in the same row. Okay. So it will give the value from the different column, but it is the same row. We will see it with the example. First, we will see what are the formula parts. So lookup, first thing, what you want to look up, that is the value, then range, your complete table, then column number, and then the last part is false or true. So it consists of 4 parts. If you check the value you want to look up. Okay, that is your lookup value. In the range, it is actually the table. Okay, but you have to take care that value you want to find, it is in the first column. Okay, so considering that thing, you have to define your table, complete table. Okay, suppose you want to search a value which is in column A, then your table will start from column A. If you want to search a value which is there in the column B, then your table, whatever you are going to define the range, that define, you are going to start from column B. Okay, this way. The number of the column within your defined range, that contains the return value, that I will tell you, because once you consider your value is in the first column, you have to consider from which column you want a value. You want a value from second column, or we want a value from third column or fourth column, that number you have to specify. And then at the end, you have to write 0 or false for an exact match. If you write false there now, then lookup value will be exactly matched with the column values. And if you write true, then approximate match is allowed. Okay. So suppose my value is 0.005. And if I write false, then it will exactly search for 0.05. Okay. Or if my value is 0.5, then it will exactly search for 0.5. It will not going to match with 1. But if I write true at the end, it will going to match with 1. Now see over here, this is an example. Now see, my table starts from A to D column. So if you check, my table is from A3 to D8. A3 to D8. To make it make the references absolute, we are using $sign. So $A, $3, colon, $D, $8. So actually it is from A3 to A8, because whenever we are dragging it now, it should remain A3A and DA. So that's the reason we have to make that references as absolute references, and for that, making that absolute, we have to put the $sign. See, our references are either absolute or relative or mixed. When it is relative, so you are going to just write A3, but when you drag the formula, A3 will become A4 next time. But when you want to make the formulas values absolute, after dragging also they should not change, then you have to put the $sign before it. So here we put $A, $3, and $D, $8. So I'm defining that table range as a absolute value. Now see my lookup value. See, check this. So in F3, I'm going to write the lookup value, and in G3, I'm going to get the thing which I want to find out. So for ID C1004, I want to find out maths mark. C1004, I want to find out the maths mark. So what formula I'm going to write here in G3 is equal to VLOOKUP. What to look up? Whatever I'm going to give in F3. So F3, comma, I'm starting, I have to take care that this value will come in the first column. So I have taken from A3 to D8, A3 to D8. Then my maths mark is in the third column. See, this is, suppose this is first column, this is second column, this is third column, right? So that's the reason I'm writing the value 3. In case I want chemistry marks, then I have to write over here 4. And then I have written false. False means exact match. So it will go into exactly match C1004 with this value. Okay. Now once I write the formula, I press enter. What will happen over here? See, it will first see what is the value C1004. The table starts from here. So it will going to search in this column. So is it matching with this? No. Matching with this? No, because exact match. Okay. It is matching with this, right? Then what is written? 3. So it will going to give the value from the third column. Okay. This way it works. Similarly, there is HLOOKUP also. The values will be searched horizontally, and then you will get the corresponding value from the corresponding rows. So here, this 1, 2, 3, 4 will be for row numbers, and that way it will work. So in lookup, there is plain lookup, then there is VLOOKUP, and there is HLOOKUP. Now after that, if is basically used when you want to take some decisions. So like suppose condition is that if I got my total paper mark is 100, out of 100, 35 is passing. So if I put the student's mark, and if it is more than 35, then I want there it should get printed pass, and if it is less than 35, then it should print fail. So this is the sort of condition which I have to check, and then I have to take some decision. So for that type of work, we are going to use if. Now for your studies, there is sum if, there is count if, and there is average if. There are 3 functions are there. Now what is mean by sum if? Add values if condition is met, such as adding up all purchases from one category. So suppose I have written all the purchases. So I want the addition of the numbers which are more than 50,000. Suppose I'm maintaining a balance of everyday purchase. Suppose if first day purchase is 20,000, second day purchase is 30,000. Okay, but I want only the addition of the values which are more than 50,000. Then I can use sum if. Then count if, actually sum means it will going to do the total. Count means actually counting the numbers. How many numbers are there? Count of the number of items that meet with the condition, similar to sum if. So I can count how many times I purchased more than 50,000. Such as counting the numbers of times a name appears in a list. So if I have a list of names, then I can count how many times a same name appears in the list. And then is average if. Conditionally average values, for instance, you could average your grades for only exams. So you can find out the average of grades for any particular exams. So this is sum if, count if, and average if. Due to time limits, I can just explain you the things. Now the next slide contains string function. So in this unit, now there are three main parts. So if you consider, there are three main parts. One thing is lookup, second part is if function, and third part is string functions. String functions are very easy to understand. The name itself suggests many things. So you have first left function. Now what is this left functions? Retrieve characters from the beginning of, okay, beginning of a text, beginning of a string. So if I write is equal to left serial number comma 2. Now see the example. If the serial number is CD234, then yeah, I have written serial number comma 2 now. So it will going to give me two characters from the left. So two characters from the left are CD. Then there is a right function, return characters from the end of the string. So left will give from the beginning and right will give from the end. So from the right side. So again, see the serial number is CTD234. If you see the formula, I have written 3. Okay, serial number comma 3. So it will going to give 3 numbers from the end. So that is 234. So if my coding is CD234, CD235, and I want to separate text and these numbers, then I can use this left and right formula. Then mid function is there. It will go to give the middle part of the text. So if for the same serial number, if I use the mid function and 2 comma 2, so it will going to give you two position from the both side. Okay, so if you check, the second position is D, and from D, 2 positions, that is D and 2. So it will give you the answer as D2. If I write 3 2 comma 3, then it will start from D, and then it will take 3 text alphabets, that is D, 2, and 3. That way. So middle is there. Then trim function. Trim leads or trailing space from a string. So trim will not going to do anything. If there is some extra space in your text, it will going to remove that space. So if you check, I have written trim first name, and the first name what I have written space colon, COLIN. So that initial space will be removed in the result. Then U case and L case. These are like uppercase and lowercase. If you write U case and first name, so if it is in small, it will become capital. If it is in capital, then you have to write L case, then it will become small. Then there is a len function, that is len first name. So it will going to give how many alphabets are there in that text. So the result will be 5. So these functions are very easy to understand. So you can easily prepare and you can write well, because this type of examples they can ask in your exam, that what is the result of Suppose if I write left of serial number comma 2, and if the serial number is CD234, then the result will be CD. This type of questions can be asked in your paper. So this is the second part of actual your syllabus. Now we will move towards the third unit or third part of the syllabus, that is advanced spreadsheet functions. Again, it is based on spreadsheets only, that is Excel. And what is there? It covers so functions that are date functions like today, now, date, time, day, month, year, week, days, day 360. Statistical function like count A, count blank, coral, large, small. Now, after that, there is data analysis. It is filtered with customized condition, the graphical presentation of data column, that is line, pie, and bar chart, using scenarios, creating and managing a scenario, using goal seek, using solver, understanding macros, creating, recording, and running simple macros, editing a macro concept only. So over here, I'm focusing on the part which we are going to repeat in your exams. So the first under functions, we will see the date functions. Get current date and time. That is the first function. That today's, that is written today's date. Now return the current date and time. After that, retrieve dates in Excel. You have to get the dates. So day will return the day of the month. Month returns the month of a special date. Year returns the year of the special date, and weekdays returns the day of the week. So if you write these functions, you will get these results. So some of the example, if you write today and open bracket and close bracket, so today date will be displayed, returns the current date as per your system. Then today plus 7. So after 21, suppose today there is 21 May 2015. Then if you write plus 7, then it will display 28 May 15. Okay. Then work day today, comma 30. Okay. So it start from May, no? So June will complete 30 days. It will count from today. So that way it will display you 2nd July. It's end of the May, so June will also be considered, and after that 15 days. So add 30 work days to today's date. So here again it's a work day, so it depends. Saturday, Sunday it will not going to consider. If you have seen, there is goal seek also. So what is a goal seek? Goal seek Excel function offers referred to as what if analysis. Is a method of solving for a desired output by changing an assumption that derives it. We will see the example. It will go to clear the things. So this is the example. Suppose I have calculated this. I have number of units, retail price, discount, and revenue. Okay. So I got a revenue of $11,250. Okay. Now what I want now, I want a revenue of 20,000. I didn't want 11,000. I want 20,000. So I can use a goal seek, but for that, definitely my number of units are going to change, right? So I have to find out, I want to find out a number of units if I want a revenue of 20,000. Then for that purpose, I can use the goal seek. So what I can do, I can start the goal seek function, and there I can set the cell value. So sale value of this E10, I'm setting to 20,000. Okay, but definitely something I have to change. So what I want to change is E4. And if I click on OK, here E4 will display the number of units I want to sell for this revenue of 20,000. This thing is called as a goal sig. Now, with this, we are coming to the last unit of the syllabus, that is Visual Basic. In this, there are 2-3 steps which we have to understand in Visual Basic. Other things are very simple. First thing, under the syllabus, if you see, that is Introduction to Visual Basic, Introduction to Graphic User Interface, that is GUI, Programming Language, which are the different programming language, then Introduction to VB Controls. This is important. You have to understand what I mean by VB control. There are text boxes, frames, check boxes, there are command buttons, etc. Then you have to understand the concept of variable and constants, and that you have to use. You have to write the code. Then there are some decision conditions are there that you have to understand. That is if conditions, which you seen in Excel, and then there are sub procedures and sub functions. Okay. Now, first we will see how for doing this Visual Basic, what software, what interface or application we are going to use. So that is, we are going to use the Visual Studio, the Microsoft Visual Studio. You have to install that software. When you open, it basically have these 3 parts. That is your forms, then application files. So that is, you have the app, this one, application window, and then this is the property window. So whatever things you are opening here now, for that it will go to show you the properties, and here you can write some properties for that. Suppose this is the form, so this is the form properties. So I can give some name for this form that you have to remember. In this form, we are going to add different controls. Okay, control means if I want to allow my user to type some text, then I'm going to add text box over there. If I want to allow them to click on the button, then I'm going to add a button over there. But for this text box, for this button, okay, I'm going to define the names in this property bar. Okay, so see how we are going to do that. So this toolbox is there. You have to just drag and drop the button over here. So if you see now in this username is written in the label box. This is the label. This is a text box. Then again, there is a password is a label. Then one more text box is drawn. Then here it is a checkbox, and then show password message. This is a label. And then there are 2 buttons. So this way I have to add. But for this every control, I have to define the name in the property. So for this, I will give some name like label 1. For this, I will give a name like label 2. For this, this is a text box 1. This can be text box 2. This is command box, command button 1. This can be command button 2. This way, I have to give name to every control so that I can use that control in my program. So once the controls I put at proper location, I can double click on that control. I have to just double click on that control, and then I can write the code over here. Okay. Now we will see one very simple example of this. So just what code I'm going to write over here. So suppose I want to add 2 numbers. So the form will be like this. Initially the numbers will not be there. 10, 20 numbers will be not there. And the sum of 10 and 20 is 30. This message also will not be there. So initially I'm going to write 10, 20. Once I click on OK, the things will come. So here if you see now, I have, this is one control. So this is a label control, addition of 2 numbers. Okay. So I added 1 control. Here I added one more control, that is enter your, this is a label. So I have 4 labels, label 1, label 2, label 3, and label 4. But this label 4 is initially not visible. It will visible only when I click on OK. So initially this label 4 will be false. Okay. And here I have 2 text boxes, that is text box 1, text box 2, and 2 buttons, that is button 1 and button 2. Okay. So first, when the form load, initially I didn't want to show my label 4. So I have written over here, label 4 dot visible is equal to false. Where when the form load, okay, form 1 underscore load, there I want to write label 4. So I have to double click on this form. Once I double click, the coding will be visible. So these things are always there. Private subform, this is always there. Only in between this, I have to write label 4.visible is equal to false. So what will happen initially when my form will be open? That time this part is not visible. Okay. Now, when I click on this clear button, what I want, this should be get clear and this should be get clear. This text box 1 and text box 2. So what I will do, I will double click on this clear button. So code part will be open, upper, the first and last line will be there. In between, what I am going to write, text box 1 dot text is equal to inverted comma starts and inverted comma ends. It is nothing is there. So it will going to show there blank. Text box 2 dot text blank, and text box label 4 dot text, if something is there, I want to make that also blank. Okay. And I have to shift my focus. What is mean by shifting the focus? That cursor will be start blinking in text box 1. So I have to write like this, text box 1 dot focus. Thank you. So once I click on clear, this 10, instead of 10, nothing will be displayed. 20, nothing will be displayed because this is text box 1 dot text. This is text box 2 dot text. Okay. And this label also, label 4 will also become blank. The label 4 will also going to become blank. Now, the next part of the coding, that is on the OK button. What code I want on the OK button. So on the OK button, what I'm going to write. So the first thing, I have to define two variables to store that numbers which I'm going to type in text box 1 and text box 2. Along with that, to store the answer. So I created three variables, dim sum as integer, then dim a as integer, and dim b as integer. These I created three variables, sum to store the total, a to store whatever I'm going to write in text box 1, b to store whatever I'm going to write in text box 2. Okay. And the last thing, I have to make that label 4 visible first. Okay. So I did that, label 4 dot visible is equal to true, because I want it should display only when I'm clicking on OK. So I first make it visible. Now, what is that? If text box text, because people are like that, if they didn't write anything and they click on OK button, then so for that you have to check if text box 1 dot text is empty, then label for visible, label 4 dot visible, first we will make it false. So label 4 will be not visible now, and message will be shown, message box dot show, sorry cannot be empty. This field cannot be empty. You have to type something over there, and your focus will be on text box 1 on text box 1. So text box 1 focus. So cursor will start blinking in text box 1 again. Now, once people feel both, same thing you can repeat for text box 2 also. If text box 2 is empty, then again the same thing. Only thing, the focus will be on text box 2 dot focus. So the cursor will be start blinking in text box 2. So when click on OK button, it will first check text box 1. If something is there, some number is there, it's okay. It will proceed to text box 2. It will check some number is there, okay. Then it will proceed to this. Okay. Now I define the variable a. So what is this a? A is equal to value which is there in text box 1 dot text. And what is b? Which is value which is there in text box 2 dot text. So your user might have been written some values over there. So that is stored in a and b. That is stored in a and b. Now you have to do the total of this two. So I written sum a plus b. Now this sum is the total of a and b. Now I have to display that in label 4. So I will write label 4 dot text is equal to the sum of, okay, the sum of whatever I'm going to write in inverted comma, that is going to display it as it is. So sum of, then I have written and a and. So a. So A is my value, which is in text box 1. So there the value 10 will come. And B, that is value in text box 2, is sum. After that, I have to put the full stop also. That also I have written in inverted code. So whatever you write in inverted code, that will be get displayed as it is. And if you want to use a variable, because variable may be containing different values, so that you have to put only that variable name. But for joining those two things, you have to use the operator AND. Okay, and then there is AND sum. So in this example, actually, I have to use the different controls to make the form. Okay, and for control, I have to give the names. So here, if you check, I have used the label control. That is, whatever text is written, that is written under label control. There are 2 text boxes, and then there are 2 command buttons. Okay, so total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 controls I use in this form. Okay, and for coding, what I did, for every control, I have given some name, and using that name, I'm completing this coding part. This is very simple example of VB. So under this VB, what you're supposed to do, what you're going to do under the VB, first thing, you should understand what is a form. On this form you're going to design, depends on your application, you're going to design different forms. So here we want to add 2 numbers, so for that we use different controls. So this is the toolbox. From this toolbox, these are the different controls which you have to drag and drop over here. This is another form which is shown over here. So this is one form. So you can design the form like this. You can add the control, and then you can change the text which is displayed over here. Okay, but for every control you have to define some name. Okay, after defining that name, you can double click on the control to open this code part, and whatever coding is there, that you can write in between this private and AND sum. Okay, so this way what I did initially, I write the code for the form. So I just double click on the form, and then I write this visible is equal to false. Then I write the code for clear button. So I double click in the clear, and I have written this. Whatever is written, replace with blank. Okay, and then I have written the code for OK button. So on the OK button, I want whatever is there in text box 1 and text box 2, that will be get added, and the total will be displayed in the label box 4. So that way I write my code. So overall, if you see in this syllabus, there is e-commerce. So under e-commerce, features, basic models of e-commerce, they are there. Then you have spreadsheets, but that are divided into 2 parts. So in the first part, you have VLOOKUP function and all the if function. And in the second part, you have some date functions, you have some string functions. Okay, then there is goal 6, there are some basic features. And then in the 4th part, you have Visual Basic. So under Visual Basic, you have to learn to make a small application. So in your paper also, the questions will be like that only. That's all for today, friends. Thank you, everyone. I would like to thank our founder principal, Kuraswani sir, also, along with Commerce Department of S.S.T College, for giving me this opportunity of presenting this presentation regarding computer application subject. Once again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this wonderful session. It really takes a lot of efforts for organizing the event, right from inception to the execution. So once again, on behalf of college, S.S.T College, I am thanking sir for devoting his time and delivering such an informative and wonderful session. I also thank to the management of S.S.T College and founder principal, Dr. J.C. Purswani sir, and our vice principal, ma'am, Dr. Khushbu Purswani ma'am for such a great idea, which is going to really serve the benefit for the students for the last minute revision. I also thank my seniors, my colleagues for supporting the event, and I thank the administrative staff as well as the technical staff. Without their support, it is very difficult. In fact, it is not possible to organize the event. And last but not the least, thank you very much, students, for attending the session. Thank you. And tomorrow we will meet with the next session of this crash course series of financial accounting. Till then,